Working in this industry is my passion. It is my purpose. Jojo Oliveri, Maverick. Hi, I'm Jo Oliveri. Welcome to JCurve, the Business of Property Management podcast. And I'm really excited to have Alex Karafiloff of Inspection Karafiloff. I did it again. You'll be remembered, of Inspection Express back with us this week for part two of the podcast that we recorded last week. And we finished on a bit of a cliffhanger where Alex was explaining about, how this technology enables property managers to do their job better, more consistent and more efficient, and it's cost saving. I was saying to Alex, one of the things I heard a business owner say a couple of weeks ago was, I can't rely on technology. And my response to that was, well, we can't rely on team and humans. Humans make mistakes as well. But the great thing with technology is the great brain and intuition that is built in to technology, especially with AI at the moment. So, Alex, welcome back. Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you. It's good to be back. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah, well, Alex is, as everyone will remember from last week, Alex is now based over in LA and he's rolling out Inspection Express in the US, which is very exciting. Still loving it there.
Absolutely loving it. I mean, it's hot here right now. But yeah, loving it. It's great to be able to roll it out. It's obviously a huge task and a huge task to roll out this sort of inspection software that isn't necessarily the norm at the moment here in the US.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And I think, even with the work I do one-on-one with companies here in Australia and the US, from what I see, Alex, is they've got this wonderful piece of technology that, they've got it, they love it, but they're not using it properly. They're not using it as effectively as what they could. So what are you seeing and what are your thoughts on that?
I definitely agree that even people who do decide to pull the trigger and implement this technology within their business aren't necessarily either themselves or the team members using it to its fullest capacity and extent. I think
Mhm,
a lot of it is mindset around that, learning this new program is going to take longer than, what they actually have time for, especially in busy
mhm,
season, approaching another busy season, you know,
mhm,
summer holidays and post Labor Day. A lot of people think that it's going to just take them more time and it's going to be more work for them. Um,
mhm,
it's a really big mindset and it requires a big mindset shift and a lot of support as well, I think, from industry vendors like myself
mhm,
to show the client and hold their hand of the matter and show them that it's not actually going to take you longer and it's not going to be more work for you. It's actually
mhm,
going to make it a lot easier. So
mm.
a huge part in what I do as well with onboarding new clients, especially the ones within the LA County region and Orange County, is I'll go to their office and we'll go then to a property together and actually do an inspection with me there. So then that way it just kind of rips the band-aid off with
Yeah.
that thing and shows them how easy it is to use. But when you just sign up to a software at a conference and you don't necessarily go through the training or anything like that, you don't end up using it to its fullest extent.
Yes, yeah. I would agree with that. Like mindset is very big in the industry. In fact, in every industry. But for some reason, in property management, what I see is the mindset of, property managers wanting to do everything themselves, but not do everything themselves. So one of the things that we see a lot with property managers is, like, yeah, I'll come and work for you, but I'm not doing inspections, or I'm not going to do maintenance. And that's all well and good, because we've got technology that is awesome at doing these things now. better than us as humans at doing it. And I say that hand on heart because I did property management, and I know it's very effective, but I know that technology is more effective than me. My skill is in my communication, with the clients. So it is quite intriguing, but you touched on a point there where it is the training. So why do you think they push back on training?
I think it's because, from my experience and what I've seen, it's because with our industry specifically, you're constantly being inundated with tasks, emails, phone calls, and I think there's a big sense of overwhelm. And when you add in wanting like a training session with a product, a property manager might sit there and will like be like, well, I don't have an hour to in my day to do this, but it's like it's a matter of, I guess, again, that mindset, that time blocking of, I know I've got emails and calls and things that need to be actioned, and people who say things are urgent when they might not be urgent. But if you can time block 1 hour of your day for one day and to learn a software effectively, and then save yourself 10 hours per week on the flip side, it's like investing. It's exactly like investing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Why would I put away, in Australia, 10% of my income, or in the US for a 401k? Why am I putting away that money? I mean, I'm investing that for my future. It's the same thing with your
Yes.
time.
Yes. You're absolutely right. And, this is something as a business coach, I'm always saying it's like there's never any end to training. And if we look at every other field, whether you're a master chef, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a lawyer, an accountant, a tradie, it doesn't matter. It is constant training because things are changing. But for some reason, the property management industry has allowed itself to say, no, I'm too busy for that. And yet at the same time complain that they don't have enough time and justify why they're not getting things done and why they're delivering a poor service and excuses to their clients. And honestly, it needs to stop. If we're to remain relevant as we go into the future, it needs to stop. And quite frankly, I don't think it's up to the property managers, and I'm just being brutally honest here, it's not up to the property managers where they spend the time. This is where we need the courageous leaders to say, we're doing training now, we're implementing this technology. And technology is, I'm nearly 65. So, people would classify me as, oh, she's old and she doesn't get technology. I get technology better than the better younger ones joining the industry because I take the time to understand. And technology is really it's as simple as follow the bouncing ball because it's very intuitive, isn't it?
100%, 100%. It's super intuitive, and especially when there's systems and processes set up specifically for a property manager, such as specific like our industry vendors like ourselves. We both have worked in the property management industry. We both get it. Um, it makes it as easy as possible. But yes, I agree. It's up to the business owner as well to, or the leader to step forward and, you know, provide that culture. I think, I don't want to obviously sit here and rub any property manager people in the industry the wrong way. It's no one's specific fault that there is this somewhat of an issue in the industry. It's a matter of that the role in its nature is a push and pull role. You are pushed and pulled in so many directions by so many different stakeholders. It's no wonder there is overwhelm. Like I get it 100%. But it's a matter of utilizing those resources that are out there to say, it's to stand up and say, you know what, enough is enough. I don't want my team
Hmm.
to be out anymore. Or if you're a property manager, I don't want to be spending hours of my day dealing with this stuff. If I can just put aside 1 hour of my time and say to, whoever's manning the phones or whatever it is, hold my messages for an hour. Like it
Absolutely.
takes
Yes.
a lot of courage, but it pays off so much so.
100%, 100%. And, I quite often share in my training. I mean, I was a property manager before I moved into leadership roles and now coaching roles. And the only way that I could manage myself and be the best person for my clients is to have times when my clients could actually communicate with me via phone or, even my emails. I'd know Joe responds to emails at this time. So, and it just made it so much easier when my clients, be it owners, tenants, vendors, contractors, whoever it is, knew that, hey, Joe's going to be returning calls between 2 and 3 this afternoon. And they knew. So I could manage a lot of properties and a lot of clients. This is before technology, simply because I had, guideposts and boundaries there. When people knew that I would give them that time, and I always gave the clients the time. But we seem to have gone backwards in the industry, despite the fact that we've got this wonderful technology, and despite the fact now that a lot of owners are not the old traditional, mum and pop investors, or mom and pop in, as we say in the US, or mum and dad here. Um, like we're getting a lot of institutional investors now too. And we need these institutional investors because of the way that the property market is changing, and tenants' behavior and needs. So we've got a lot of changes going on with it is imperative that, the way we do day to day in the property management operations needs to change as well. And that's the big mindset shift that you're talking about, Alex. So, yeah.
Got to be ruthless with your time, and that's a thing I fall victim to now. Even especially having done property management, it was the first big career that I had in my entire career, and I still need to get back to people. I feel like I need to get back to people ASAP. I'm always available. I'll always respond. I fall victim to that, but at points you need to be very ruthless with your time, and it's hard to do so when we live in a world where everyone expects everything done yesterday, not today
Mm-hmm.
or in 10 minutes. They want it done
Mm-hmm.
already. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to navigate that 100%, but you get that level of immediate service when you utilize technology that automates certain things and responses.
Correct.
So it's like
Correct. Yeah.
it's kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg. It's a
Mm-hmm.
matter of, yes, we have this problem, this cyclical problem. We've got the solution right in front of us, but to
Mm-hmm.
adopt the solution, I need to maybe feel a bit of pain now or be ruthless with my time, and then it's gonna be better off in the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. You're quite right. It's difficult, but it's simple. And it requires discipline. And if you're disciplined, you will come out the other end. And I always say when I work with companies, think of this like you've got this, like huge ship at sea that's out of control. And before we get control, we have to stabilize it before we can start, turning it around in the right direction, because it'll just keep, it'll sink if we try to fix things when it's still chaotic. Or, like you've got a glass of water that looks clean, but at the bottom is all sediment. So, when we come in and fix a company, we shake it up so the sediment is all floating around and it's cloudy and dirty and revolting. But then we can clean it because we've got a proper process. And I think, that's one of the challenges that the industry has not solved at the moment is they're so busy tripping over their own shoelaces that they're not kind of like stopping and being disciplined in their step-by-step approach. And they're listening too much to, the fear and the justification of the property managers, which is not their fault. It's just about everyone, collaborating together and working collectively, because they're all very skilled, they're all very good, but they're not doing it with the right mindset, as you said before.
yeah, 100%. And my, I guess, last point on that particular thing would be as well, just having that faith and that trust within our services as industry vendors to know that we're making it as easy as possible. So it's not going to be this huge, big fear induced change. It's actually going to be a lot easier than what you think it's going to be.
Hmm.
Need to like
Exactly.
that, especially people like you and I, we've done the job before. We know. So trust that we know, and we
Yes.
have developed out the processes and the solutions to make it as easy as possible for you. So
Exactly, Alex. And we've come out the other end and look at us. We're happy, smiling, joyful, and still, like very involved within this industry to help people to see. It's a great industry. It's like every industry has a lot of hats that they wear. So it's just part of it. But if you've got the process and you utilize the amazing technology that we've got, your job will just get better and better. It's just, like everything involves stress and pressure is privilege because it means that you're focused on getting things done and learning and evolving and so it's when you turn that pressure into stress that makes you sick and things like that. That's when we're on the wrong path. We need to get back on the path and accept pressure, and work with pressure to take us to greater strides forward, and deliver better results to clients and business owners.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Put it better myself.
No, thank you. Well, Alex, before we go, I touched on this last week, um, and the way that property managers do the routine inspections intrigue me as to why they're so involved in getting so many photos, and writing down what's at that property every time they go. They're writing the same thing, because we've got the benefit of what you've got in Inspection Express of all the drop down wording for every room, and I've actually developed the vocabulary for every room and every situation for my clients. And it's easy. Inspection Express, we just import it in. But property managers still want to have their own spin on things. So what the poor old rental property owner gets is there's a watermark in the corner. It's like, well, that watermark has been there ever since I gave you the property to manage. This is nothing new. But has the watermark got worse? Because that's when we need alerts. Um, and the thing with inspections when you do a routine inspection is we're looking at items of concern where there might be the tenant's not taking care of the property, there is excessive wear and tear, there are repairs or maintenance that have not been reported that we can easily get fixed then. We're not looking at how clean the tenant is because you can be unclean on day of inspection, but a clean person. I've just had a dinner party the night before and my oven is filthy. So, like we want to be more on the side of, here's the actual condition, here's our assessment of the property, a visual, and is there any kind of like exception to how it was when the tenants moved in? And we've got that information from the entry, don't we?
Yes, correct. So this is where I'll touch a bit on how it works within its Inspection Express for anyone who's listening. I'll try my best with words. I usually show it and demo it. I wish I could do
Yes.
that. But let's see how good I am with my words and vocabulary. Um, so yes, so basically the way it works with the routine inspections, there's a couple of ways you can do it, but in the regard how you referenced it is that first and foremost, you would go through, like you said, and take photos of these problem issues that you can notice within that inspection. Within Inspection Express, you actually have the ability whilst you're on site to pull up the 360 walkthrough or the individual photos you captured from your previous entry inspection or move-in inspection, but also your previous routine inspections as well, if you need to make
Mm-hmm.
comparisons. Now, you can
Mm-hmm.
actually pull up that 360. So even if you didn't take a photo because the watermark was non-existent, you can see in the 360 that it was non-existent and capture that portion of the image. And it does
Mm-hmm.
the same side comparison of the issue present and then the condition of it when the tenant moved in. And that's
Mm-hmm.
all like the click of a button when you're actually doing the inspection. So it's super easy because you have all of the information in the palm of your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing done with any maintenance. So if you've reported maintenance in a previous routine inspection, you can actually see all of the previous maintenance you've reported during your inspections. You can pull up the photographs or the videos. We have a measurement tool, so you could even measure the size of a watermark, and you can see
Mm-hmm.
how much 3, 6, 9, 12 months ago and compare it whilst you're on site doing that routine inspection.
Mm-hmm.
So really helps you navigate and really hit that point of what the routine inspection is there for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Another little a little fun fact that I want to share about some feedback from property managers that I've had who have used the 360 component with the routine inspections is they've actually gotten a lot less pushback from tenants using a 360 rather than going through and taking tens of photos per room, because
Mm.
taking those still images and you're with your camera and you're pointing it at certain things feels really invasive. Whereas if you go
Yeah.
through and you take a general photo, the tenants are so much more open to that. You're
Mm-hmm.
actually capturing more than what you would have with the still photos, and
Yeah.
you're delivering the service. Your landlords are going to sit at home and be like, oh my God, I can't believe my property manager is able to give me this 360 walkthrough and I can see what my property's like holistically and how the tenants are taking care of it. It's like a
Yes.
win-win situation, no
Yeah.
matter how you put it. So I thought that was really fascinating feedback. That's something we've received from a bunch of US property managers, but it's also feedback we've received from Australian property managers as well. So it seems to be
Mm.
quite a universal reaction to the 360 in a positive way for those routine inspections.
Mm.
So yeah, I thought that was really fascinating, and I wanted to share with everyone who's listening. The the other things I guess you can do with the routine inspections is tenant action items. So the ability to, when you're going through the property, if there's certain items that the tenants need to fix or clean, you add that in as you're doing your inspection. And when you finalize that inspection, you can automatically send the tenant a list of the to-do list that they need to fix or clean. So again, it's just
Mm-hmm.
trying to save time, but it's also recording it in a way where, you can track that and you can keep note of that. So it's
Fantastic.
giving you all those tools, which as
Yeah.
someone who do so many routine inspections, oh my God, I wish I had that.
Oh gosh, it's just so valid. Everything you're saying, like the photos, the 360 makes sense to me. I own rental properties, and as an owner, I can say if I'm overwhelmed by all those photos, I never look at them because it actually makes me feel overwhelmed and angry. It's like, what do I want all this for? I don't want to see this. I want to see relevant points of something I need to look at. Um, and the 360 is the consistency that we need. And, it's so much quicker. It's going to identify in its with its technological brain. There's a difference here. It's not a human eye. It's like, oh, is that different, and was that there before? Like, I don't remember seeing that, because we always have those moments. So it's just such a no-brainer, isn't it, Alex?
It really is. Like, it's just no matter how many ways you want to look at it, it all leads back to the same result, which is it is a no-brainer for the
Yeah.
owner. How you do things as a property manager, it still leads to time saving for you, better
Yeah.
service for your clients, and less
Hmm.
headaches in the long run, no matter
Yeah.
how you do it. Like, you could do the tenant assisted inspections where you send the tenant a link and they complete the routine inspection,
Hmm. Hmm.
and you can review it and send it back to them if they
Hmm.
need amendments. And it's like, there's so many ways you can do that. You can incorporate that into a resident benefit package scheme. You can
Yeah.
incorporate that into like a rating system for your tenants. If they've had 3 really
Exactly.
great periodic
Hmm.
inspections,
Yeah.
then they qualify for the ability to do the tenant assisted inspection, which
Yeah.
there's a huge shift. Like, I just read a report on renter behavior, and the biggest thing for renters right now, the reason they stay in properties is convenience, the when they're given privacy as well,
Mhm.
and they're
Mhm.
able to really like live in their home without feeling like they've got someone breathing down their neck, whether it be
Mhm.
landlord or property manager. And
Mhm.
it's convenience and that is such a priority right now, and
Mhm.
what's in tenants. And when we have hundreds of thousands of homes being built and a super competitive market, as a property
Mm.
manager, your job is to retain the tenant.
Exactly, exactly. Retain the tenants, at market value always. And it's win-win for everyone. And as I said earlier, tenants' behavior and needs has changed as much as what the owners have. And the industry still seems to be stuck a little. And Alex, I'm actually proposing a summit of minds next year in the US, because we've got all this wonderful technology, that is kind of like sitting on the sidelines of the property management industry at the moment. And my goal is to bring all the technology providers together to say, like, what are we experiencing, and how do we help the industry to change that mindset and implement? And from that, then, get in the industry coaches, because we've got some amazing coaches out there who, some of them are a little bit stuck in the old way as well. And I think, that our technology providers and our coaches are the ones who, if we get together, we can help the business owners and leaders to have the courage to say, hey, I can do this, but I can provide a great service. My owners will have profit from owning properties. We will be profitable as a business, but our residents and our teams will also feel valued and respected, and even treasured, and love coming to work every day. So like, it's terrible to fear technology. It's a terrible thing, or it's terrible to feel that technology is going to take your job. It's not going to happen unless we let it. And I probably think the biggest fear is that this technology is enabling sales agents to do the job of a property manager. So, they're looking for other ways to make money and retain clients and generate transactions. We're leading the pathway to that. So, as an industry, we're going to sit together and say, hey, let's change the way we do the do. Um, just like Disney does. Disney has had to change the park to make sure it's relevant, and that's why they've got Pixar there and things like that, because the kids today love all of the Pixar characters, Woody and Buzz and the Incredibles and all of that. But Mickey is still there, so you know.
100%. Like technology is going nowhere. We know that for a fact. AI, when it first came out, we thought, is this a gimmick? Is this going to happen? It's not going nowhere. I mean, there's numerous reports on what they want to do with AI and how they want to progress it. There's billions upon trillions of dollars being poured into AI by all the big tech companies.
Hmm.
It's going nowhere. It is
Yeah.
the way of the future, and it's a detriment to anyone to not utilize it and not embrace it. Like, look at
Hmm.
Blockbuster as well, for example.
Oh
The
yeah. Yeah.
Blockbuster
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yep.
Blockbuster refused to do anything that Netflix was doing, and they thought that DVDs and that's always going to be around, and it's never going to change, and no one's going to want to
Yeah.
have Netflix or anything like that. Where is Blockbuster?
Yeah.
It's
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I went to a museum and they had like a replica of a Blockbuster as if it was like some ancient artifact.
Wow.
And I
Gosh.
was like, what is going on? But
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. We don't want property management to be that next thing. It's
Yeah.
any industry really that
Yeah.
doesn't improve technology. It's just particularly our industry that's not necessarily embracing it to its fullest extent.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly. No, you're exactly right. They are stuck about 20 years behind. And I say that lovingly because I love the industry, but they are stuck. It's not about the person. It's the people actually make up the personality that drives the magnetism that draws people to a brand. But you've got to be very careful that's consistent as well. Like, thousands upon thousands of people work at Disney, but the moment you enter there, it's like it's just magic that, like kind of like feels like it's raining down on top of you. And you're just infused with the magic. We need that same sort of thing in the property management industry. And let me tell you, because I go behind the scenes at Disney, there is a lot of AI and technology at Disney, but we never see it. So, yeah.
I mean, for sure. I don't think they would be able to do what they do without that AI and that technology.
Exactly.
It's
So,
not
yeah,
possible with the scale that they do it, and that property managers do their job as well. It's you know
exactly.
something really needed.
Yeah, yeah. So I predict that within the next 2 years, we're going to see a whole new industry and we're going to see a whole lot of smiling faces saying, why didn't we do this earlier? So, yeah, and I think it's, companies like Inspection Express, and there's another one of my favorite companies, Vendaroo, that team there is like Inspection Express. They're like the Disney of their industry. Just great personalities and there for the right reasons, and brilliant technology that goes behind it too. So yeah, is there any one last thing you'd like to share with everyone, our listeners, Alex, before we go?
I'm in the hot seat now.
Oh, you are.
I I would just say, embrace it. Trust that it's not a difficult thing to do or dip your toe into. Um, this is something that thousands of people before you have been doing as well. It's not it's tried and tested, especially in the industry. So, don't be fearful of that change. Embrace it because it's going to allow for a brighter future and time back at the end of the day. Like I can confidently say at Inspection Express, we can give you hours of your time back.
Yeah,
So, you know, embrace it. Speak to, us, speak to everyone that is able to offer you this really valuable resource, which is time, and embrace it.
yeah. Fantastic. Brilliant. Well, thanks, Alex. It's once again been a joy having you on. And I know I'm going to get you back in the future because, I love everything you're saying. You're saying it because you know it. You're not just kind of like spieling something off. It really is coming from your heart and a mindset of knowledge and belief. So thanks, Alex. And thanks to all the team at Inspection Express, Kelly, all of them. They're amazing. And to all of our listeners, like get in contact with Alex if you're in the US, or, they've got representatives here in Australia. And, they're so good at guiding you through the pathway in having, really fantastic inspections done that the team are doing, but also that the owners of the properties value as well. And as Alex said, the tenants are loving it too. So thank you, Alex. Thanks for coming back and joining us on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Thank you again.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for tuning in to JCurve, where we spotlight the journey of growing and thriving in property management business. Reach out and be part of the JCurve community. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and hit subscribe so you never miss out. Let's grow together on JCurve. See you in the next one.